with the people, counties who are gaining and losing, Mr. Speaker. We realize Nairobi has more poverty than in some of the counties, Mr. Speaker, where these up and poor, they come from slums, schools, feeding program, will always entice the enrollment and attendance of school, Mr. Speaker. So I allow this. This is a genius proposal by Senator Wambua to include in the bill and ensure that we get the quality and ensure that, because it is easy, just like beans, just like maize, Mr. Speaker, and others. And we want to encourage students, when you get school feeding program, let us improve on performance, let us improve and ensure that we improve on attending school and many others. That is on clause number 6, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, interesting facts about Kenya is that an average age of a farmer in Kenya is 60 years. The further interesting fact is life expectancy in Kenya is 65 years. So it means you are a farmer, before 5 years you go to heaven. So it is a very, we need to encourage young people. My point is simple, and I want the young people who are following this discussion, either live or who are sitting in gallery. I know from where I come that even young people as young as 20 years, they are accomplished farmers. Let us not reduce farming, Mr. Speaker, to when you retire, then you go to the village, then you become a farmer, Mr. Speaker. Because the average age of a farmer is 60 years, so you can imagine, Mr. Speaker, that we need to relook and rethink and encourage even smart farming. I heard yesterday the CS of Agriculture came, we were discussing about smart farming, Mr. Speaker. So we need to encourage young people. I want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, in our time, in 844, there were 4K clubs that were encouraging the issue of agriculture, Mr. Speaker. We need now, through CBC and the reforms that we are doing within the curriculum, Mr. Speaker, let us include the issue of 4K club to ensure young people appreciate the law of agriculture, Mr. Speaker. The future millionaires, dollar billionaires of Africa and across the world is in farming, Mr. Speaker. I know because I come from the region. In fact, the people who attend Harambes, who are respected, and who sit and who give proper money in Harambes are majorly farmers, Mr. Speaker, because there is no day you will fail to eat. There is no day you will fail to eat something, at least from morning to evening, Mr. Speaker. So, in fact, and you know, this agriculture, Mr. Speaker, employs over 40% of our population. You see people, when you go there, from where I come, you see milk being taken from Tankina or Lelchego. You need somebody who will milk, of course, the owner of the milk, the milker, the milkman, sorry, the person who will transport, the person who will sell. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine that value chain from the time the milk is being taken to the time at consumption. So 40% of Kenya's population, which is 53.1 million as per 2019 population and housing census, are employed in agriculture sector. It means with the introduction of aggregation centers, with the introduction of MANC bills, investing in it, creating a legal framework, we are able to increase the number of people in, for example, Kitui County, where Senator Wambua comes from, and they depend on this as part of farming, Mr. Speaker, to improve in terms of employment, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it creates opportunity to agriculture, Mr. Speaker, creates opportunity to 70% of the population in the rural areas, Mr. Speaker. Rural population, 70% depend on agriculture. Where you go there, you will get somebody with a cow, somebody with planting maize, mung beans, Mr. Speaker, macadamia, cotton, and I was informed, Mr. Speaker, I was shocked today to learn that Lamu is some of the leading counties that produce cotton alongside Busia and many other countries. Yet, for example, Lamu does not even have a cotton ginnery that can process cotton, Mr. Speaker. So, in entirety, the issue of agriculture cannot go without a notice. Mr. Speaker, finally, on the issue of implementation on regulation, I think on the issue of the role of CEC, Mr. Speaker, we need to agree. And I don't know what we will do. Because, Mr. Speaker, agriculture is fully devolved. I wanted to ask the Committee of Devolution, Mr. Speaker, to cease off. I remember there was Senate and COG consultation that happened in Naivasha, and some of us attended remotely. Mr. Speaker, some of us attended remotely. We need to ensure what are these functions that needed to be devolved, do the costing, and then if they are clawback, Mr. Speaker, or functions that need to come back to the national government. Because in my own opinion, agriculture is fully devolved. It is only the policy that you can retain at the national, at the level of national government, Mr. Speaker. With those very, very remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate Senator Wambua, Mr. Speaker, and in the spirit of congratulation, to congratulate members of National Assembly from Kenya Kwanza for spirited and ensuring that they pass the finance bill, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday evening, the finance bill has been passed, the budget has been read. We need now to mop up resources, ensure some of them goes to mung beans, and I want to assure Senator Wambua, the increment of VAT of fuel from 8% to 16%, we will get more resources to invest in mung beans and ensure that we give an opportunity. So let us support this finance bill going into the future, Mr. Speaker. Let the President William Ruto have resources. We need roads, Mr. Speaker, so that we can ensure, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number and how we can help our farmers to produce this mung bean. I do not see any relevance whatsoever between the finance bill and the mung bean and the provisions that are in this draft bill. In fact, Mr. Speaker, it is quite clear from the submissions that are coming from my colleague from Nandi that he has not read this bill. Everyone can tell, everybody who's here who is interacted with this bill knows Senator Cherargei has not read this bill. The things that he's talking about here and congratulating members of the National Assembly, they have nothing to do with this bill. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you were to ask him, how are those farmers who produce this mung bean supposed to get their produce to the market? They're going to use vehicles that use diesel. So if you're going to increase the price of fuel, you are hurting these things. You're hurting these farmers. You are negating the very intention of this bill. So, Mr. Speaker, I want you to rule him out of order, because it has no relevance whatsoever to what we are discussing. And please maybe allow people who have read this bill to have an opportunity to educate the senator from Nandi.